The wedding was supposed to be perfect. Every detail had been planned months in advance. The imported flowers, the silk table runners, the string quartet flown in from New York. The ceremony took place at a private estate overlooking the ocean, reserved only for families who never worried about money. For Emily Harper, perfection wasn't a desire, it was an expectation. At 26, Emily was beautiful, wealthy, and used to getting exactly what she wanted. She came from a family whose last name opened doors without questions. Her fiancé, Nathan, was a rising corporate lawyer, polished and well-connected. This wedding wasn't just about love, it was about image. An hour before the ceremony, Emily stood in a private bridal suite, staring at herself in the mirror as her bridesmaids adjusted her dress. Laughter filled the room, champagne glasses clinked, phones buzzed with last-minute updates. Then Emily felt it, a sharp pain in her chest. She pressed a hand against her ribs, forcing a breath. The pain faded quickly, leaving behind a strange tightness. "You okay?" one of the bridesmaids asked. "I'm fine," Emily said quickly. "Just nerves." But 10 minutes later, the pain returned, stronger this time. Her vision blurred. The room tilted. Someone screamed. Within minutes, the music outside stopped. Guests whispered. The wedding coordinator rushed in, face pale. "Call an ambulance, now!" At the nearby private medical center, doctors moved fast. Emily was wheeled into an emergency room, her wedding dress carefully cut open at the seams. Nathan stood nearby, frantic, gripping his phone. A nurse entered. "The on-call emergency physician is on his way." The door opened. Dr. Marcus Reed stepped in. He was black, early 40s, calm, highly composed, his white coat spotless, his voice steady as he reviewed Emily's chart. "I'm Dr. Reed," he said. "I'll be taking care of—" Emily's eyes snapped open. Her face tightened instantly. "No," she said, breath shaky but firm. "Not him." The room froze. Dr. Reed paused. "Excuse me? I want another doctor," Emily said, her voice growing sharper. "Someone else." Nathan looked uncomfortable. "Emily, this isn't the time." "I don't feel comfortable," she interrupted. "Get me a different doctor." No one said the word. They didn't have to. The nurse shifted awkwardly. The monitor continued its steady beeping, unaware of the tension flooding the room. Dr. Reed studied Emily carefully, not with anger, not with surprise. He had seen this before. "Ma'am," he said evenly, "you're experiencing signs of a potentially life-threatening condition. I need to examine you immediately." Emily shook her head. "I said no." The nurse hesitated. "We're short-staffed today. Dr. Reed is the senior emergency physician on duty." "I don't care," Emily snapped. "I refuse treatment from him." The pain in her chest intensified. Her heart rate spiked on the monitor. Dr. Reed didn't raise his voice. He simply said, "You don't have much time?" Emily turned her face away. "Get him out." Silence filled the room. Heavy, dangerous silence. And in that moment, Emily Harper made a choice she believed was about control, without realizing it was a choice that could cost her life. The room felt smaller with every second. Emily lay on the hospital bed, her wedding dress ruined, makeup streaked, chest rising too fast. The monitor beside her began to beep more sharply, the sound no longer steady but irregular, impatient, warning. Nathan stood frozen at her side. "This isn't about comfort anymore," he said quietly, trying to keep his voice calm. "Please, let him help you." Emily squeezed her eyes shut. The pain was back again, deeper now, crushing, like a heavy hand pressing from the inside of her chest outward. Panic crept in where confidence used to live. "I don't trust him," she whispered. "I just don't." Dr. Marcus Reed remained where he was, hands relaxed at his sides, eyes never leaving the monitor. He wasn't offended, he wasn't angry, he was concerned. "Her blood pressure is dropping," he said calmly to the nurse. Heart rhythm is unstable. The nurse swallowed. We need consent. Emily's breathing turned shallow. The edges of her vision darkened. What's happening to me? She asked, fear finally breaking through her voice. Dr. Reed stepped closer, careful not to touch her yet. You may be experiencing an acute cardiac complication. If we don't intervene now, you could go into cardiac arrest. Emily shook her head weakly. Then get someone else. The nurse checked the hallway, then returned, shaking her head. There's no other emergency physician available right now. Another sharp spike rang out from the monitor. Nathan grabbed Emily's hand. Listen to him, he pleaded. Please. Emily tried to answer, but the words didn't come out. Her lips tingled. Her left arm went numb. Fear swallowed everything else. For the first time in her life, Emily Harper wasn't in control. Dr. Reed moved instantly. Emily, he said, firm but steady. I don't have time to convince you. I need to save you. She stared at him. Not at his skin, not at his title, at his eyes. They were focused, clear, certain. The eyes of someone who had done this before, many times. Another wave of pain hit, stealing her breath completely. Tears streamed down her face. I don't want to die, she whispered. Dr. Reed nodded once. Then let me help you. Her resistance collapsed. She squeezed Nathan's hand and nodded faintly. Yes, she whispered. Do it. The moment consent was given, the room exploded into motion. Dr. Reed gave rapid instructions. Oxygen, IV access now. Prep meds. Call cardiology and alert ICU. Hands moved. Equipment rolled in. The calm authority in Dr. Reed's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. Emily felt the mask pressed to her face. Cool oxygen filled her lungs. Someone lifted her arm, inserted a needle. The world blurred, but one voice stayed clear. Stay with me, Dr. Reed said. You're not alone. The monitor's rhythm steadied slightly. Not safe yet, but better. Emily clung to that sound, and somewhere beneath the fear, beneath the pain, a devastating realization began to form. The man she had refused was the only reason she was still breathing, and the life she had almost thrown away was now completely in his hands. Time fractured into pieces. Emily no longer knew how long she had been in the emergency room. Seconds stretched into something thick and endless. The oxygen mask fogged with every breath, and her heartbeat thundered in her ears, too fast, too loud, as if her body were trying to escape itself. Heart rate's climbing again, the nurse said urgently. Dr. Marcus Reed didn't look away from the monitor. His face remained calm, but his mind moved fast, calculating, adjusting. Prep the beta blocker, he said. Now? Nathan stood against the wall, hands trembling, watching the woman he loved slip further away. Her skin had gone pale, almost grey beneath the harsh hospital lights. The confident bride from hours earlier was gone. In her place lay someone fragile, terrified, human. Emily's vision blurred completely. Marcus, she whispered without realizing she'd used his first name. He leaned closer so she could hear him through the mask. I'm here. Her chest tightened violently. The pain was unbearable now, sharp, searing, absolute. Her fingers clawed weakly at the sheets. I can't feel my legs, she cried. Dr. Reed's voice sharpened just enough to command the room. She's crashing. Start the meds, now. The medication entered her bloodstream, cold and burning. For a moment, everything went black. The monitor screamed. Flat, piercing alarms filled the room. Cardiac arrest, the nurse shouted. Nathan's breath caught in his throat. No! Dr. Reed moved instantly. Start CPR, he ordered. Clear. Emily's body jolted as the defibrillator delivered its shock. Her back arched slightly, then fell still again. Nothing. Again, Dr. Reed said. Clear. Another shock. The room held its breath. Then a blip. A weak rhythm returned to the screen, fragile but real. "I've got a pulse," the nurse said, disbelief and relief colliding in her voice. Dr. Reed didn't celebrate. Not yet. "Stabilize her. Prep for ICU. We're not done." Emily drifted in and out, consciousness flickering like a failing light. In those half-dream moments, she heard Marcus's voice, steady, unwavering, refusing to let go. "Stay with me. You're fighting. You're not done yet." Tears leaked from the corners of her eyes, not from pain, from shame, from the crushing weight of what she had almost done, what she had almost lost because of ignorance dressed up as preference. Hours later, Emily woke up in the ICU. The room was quiet now. Machines hummed softly. Her body felt heavy, sore, alive. Nathan sat beside her bed, eyes red, gripping her hand like he was afraid she might disappear again. "You scared me," he whispered. Emily swallowed hard. Is he still here?" Nathan nodded. "Dr. Reed saved your life." As if summoned, Dr. Marcus Reed stepped into the room. Emily looked at him, really looked at him, without fear, without defense, without excuses. "I don't deserve what you did," she said, voice weak but honest. "But thank you." Dr. Reed met her gaze. "I didn't save you because you deserved it," he replied calmly. "I saved you because it was my responsibility." Emily's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, the truth landed fully. Her wealth hadn't saved her. Her status hadn't saved her. Her prejudice almost killed her. The man she had refused, the man she tried to replace, was the reason she would see another day. And she knew she would never be the same again. Recovery came slowly. Emily spent the next 2 days in the ICU, her body weak, her movements careful, every breath a reminder of how close she had come to the end. The wedding was officially postponed. The flowers were thrown away. The guests had gone home with confused stories and uncomfortable questions. None of that mattered anymore. What mattered was that she was alive. On the third morning, the curtains were open. Sunlight spilled softly into the room, warming the sterile white walls. Emily stared out the window for a long time before speaking. "I keep thinking about that moment," she said quietly to Nathan. "When I said no, when I almost chose my fear over my life." Nathan squeezed her hand. "You're still here. That's what matters." Emily shook her head. "It matters why I almost wasn't." Later that afternoon, Dr. Marcus Reed came in for a final check. He reviewed her chart, checked her vitals, professional and composed as always. Emily watched him closely. "Dr. Reed," she said softly, "can I say something?" He looked up. "Of course." "I don't expect forgiveness," she continued, "and I know sorry doesn't fix what I did, but I need you to know. I see you now. I see how wrong I was." Dr. Reed studied her for a moment. "I hear you," he said. "What you do with that understanding matters more than the words." Emily nodded, tears filling her eyes again. "I won't waste it." A week later, Emily was discharged. She didn't return to planning the wedding right away. Instead, she did something she had never done before. She listened. She read. She confronted the beliefs she had absorbed without ever questioning them. Months later, Emily and Nathan stood in a much smaller ceremony. No estate, no orchestra, no spectacle, just close family, a quiet venue, and one special guest in the front row. Dr. Marcus Reed. When Emily walked down the aisle, she met his eyes and nodded, not as a bride to a doctor, but as one human acknowledging another. After the ceremony, Emily approached him. "You didn't just save my life," she said. "You changed it." Dr. Reed smiled politely. "That part was up to you." As he walked away, Emily understood something that would stay with her forever. Prejudice doesn't always look like hate. Sometimes it looks like comfort, like preference, like fear disguised as choice. And sometimes life gives you one moment, one terrifying, humbling moment, to unlearn it. Emily Harper got that moment, because the black doctor she refused was the man who proved her life was worth saving, even when she didn't believe it herself.